how the magicians call upon jinn, how they invoke jinn. The jinn and the magician, they coordinate based on a deal. They make a deal, and based on this deal, they coordinate with each other. I think you know about how the contract killers work. In the same way, in the world of black magic, the magician calls the chief jinn, the chief of the tribe of the jinns. He calls upon him, he praises him, he commits all forms of disbelief and polytheism. And then a deal is made between the chief jinn and the magician. And the chief jinn sends the subordinate jinns to carry out the purposes of the black magic. So they have certain ways and certain rituals and practices through which they coordinate with the chief jinn. So I'm going to share with you those rituals and the methods they use to call the jinn. The first method is called as al-iqsam, in which the magician gets into a dark room, a private kind of thing. He gets into the dark room and he swears in the name of the chief jinn. He says, "Oh chief jinn, please come, please come." He praises him constantly, and he wears filthy clothes, and he gets into the impure state of the body. For example, he commits sexual intercourse, or he masturbates and then gets into the impure state of the body, and then he starts his rituals. So when he starts his rituals, he lights up fire, and in the fire he puts bad odor or good smell based on the subject, based on their requirement. For example, he got the requirement to create differences and divisions between husband and wife. In that case, he puts bad odor. And if he wants to create unconditional love between husband and wife, between two friends, between two partners, between two lovers, based on the requirement, he puts good smell, or he burns incense sticks. So after a while, he praises the chief jinn. He calls him again and again. Then a phantom appears before him in the form of a dog or a snake, and he communicates to the jinn. He dictates what to be done and what not to be done. And in most of these cases, he hears a voice. "Okay, what do you want me to do? Your wish is my command." And then the magician says that this has to be performed, this has to be done, this has to be taken care of. So this is the first method they use to call the jinn and talk to the jinn. Now the second method, which is called as a-zabiha. They use this method as a way of slaughtering the animal in the name of the chief jinn. So they ask you, or the person who visits the magician, he tells the person to get an animal with certain specifications, with certain features. For example, black crow, or black sheep, or black ram, or black pigeon, or an owl. They specifically ask for black color because jinn like black color. This is the second method. Now the third method, which is called as as-sufliya, and this is the worst form of disbelief, and more the perfect the magician is, the jinns come at the beck and call of the magician. In this method, magician wears Quran on his food. He wears it on his food, and he walks into the toilet. He sits in the toilet, and he does all the incantations and the chanting and praising of the jinn, and then he comes back to his room, and then the jinn comes to him and talk to him. The magician becomes disbeliever. More he gets into the ditch of disbelief, the jinn helps him. This is the third method. Now the fourth method, which is called as an-najasa. In this, the magician writes the Quran with the menses discharge, or the dirty fluids, filthy fluids. For example, precum or semen, or the menses discharge, or post-birth blood. So they use these blood of the women who come to the magicians, the devotees. They use this blood to write the Quranic ayats. And this is how they please the jinn, and later the jinn come to them and talk to them, and they carry out the task. The fifth method they use is called as al-tankis. In this, they anagramatize the words of the Holy Quran. For example, my name is Abu Talha. So Talha, the reverse of the word Talha is Ahlat Uba. Ahlat Uba. So the magicians use this technique, this way, to read the Quran, and this is how the jinn gets pleased with them, and they come at their beck and call to execute the orders and the task. The sixth method they use is called as at-tanjim. In this, the magicians believe that gods descend from certain stars. Jinn come when they praise the stars, and they ask the magicians what to be done and what not to be done. And my dear friends, I'm narrating to you all these facts from the book by Sheikh Abdul Salam Bali, The Sword Against Black Magic and Evil Magicians, and this is the best book on this subject.